Hello, listeners. This is True Crime Undercover. I'm your host, A-Train, and I'm joined by two fabulous people. I just said fabulous.
Yeah, thanks.
Anyway, what we have is...
you got Peter Allen and Richard Simmons.
You got their fabulous. All right, I got Super E, and I got D-Mania. Say something.
Something.
Okay.
What's up? What's up, everybody?
Yeah. You guys doing all right?
Hanging in there, A-Train.
Good.
Doing great. It's a beautiful day out today.
It is.
Yes.
It is beautiful. Yes, it is.
Yeah. And I've got another addition to the house. And now my daughter brought in a baby bird, which my wife has declared that I'm taking care of 24 hours a day.
I thought you were going to say you had another child. Jeez.
I know.
Well, with all her stupid dogs, and now at night, A-Train, remember the turkey I told you about that always bum rushes the fence to try to get at me?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's figured out how to somehow open the gate whatever from my neighbor's fence. And he comes in right before, at dark, and I'm sitting on the park bench, and he just comes over 5 feet away from me and stares at me.
He figured out how to open the gate?
I don't know how he gets through that gate.
Oh.
He's a magician.
Well,
Maybe he flies over it.
I can't tell if he's. That's a possibility.
that is a good point.
He might have, because without D-Mania interjecting, I did have an experience where a wild turkey, A-Train that you normally blast into oblivion, a wild turkey ran out in front of my van as I was bringing my daughter home from school. It freaked out and started flying, because I guess turkeys can fly.
Well, yeah. Yeah, they got a roost. Uh-huh.
Yes, well, it was flying about 5 feet above my van, because I was going like 35 miles an hour. And me and my daughter are like freaking out. Oh, my God, look at that turkey. It's right in front of us. It's over the hood. All of a sudden, I saw its rectum open, and it started dumping turkey shit missiles. I'm like, I got to hit the brakes, and it is just unloaded like D-Mania if he goes to a Mexican restaurant. It was unbelievable.
No, wait a minute. You had such a view that you could see its rectum opening?
Yes, it was right there in front of me flying.
Wow. And
all of a sudden, my daughter's like, oh, my God, Father. She goes, it's shitting on the hood.
That's great. That's what happens when you live in the country.
Yes, but we digress. D-Mania has a story that he told me that's very similar to the last one we just talked about, but I think we should let him have the reins and tell us about this incident.
I can't wait to hear it.
All righty. Well, this was a great open. So this was probably in 2003, 2004-ish. There was at the department I was on at the time, there was like I guess you could call it a community center that various entities would rent out and have festivities there.
Okay.
It just so happened that this festivity was a sorority party. It was on a weekend, and they wanted only one off-duty police officer to work there, which I quickly volunteered for.
Oh, yeah.
So when I get there, there's just is this huge. Well, it was a mix of sororities, so it was a big sorority party. I'm thinking maybe there should be two of us, but anyway, so the only thing they wanted me to do was they had one room, kind of separated, that had all the alcohol where people could go drink or get served alcohol. Okay. And I was supposed to stand there and ID people to make sure nobody under the age of 21 entered the alcohol room.
Right.
So, okay, no problem. Getting paid, $25 an hour. So at that time was good.
Right.
So as the night goes on, I'm standing there doing my duties diligently.
Protecting the young women. Go ahead.
Yes. And this one particular college sorority member keeps coming up to me. I could tell she was being flirtatious, which, being a man in uniform and, as masculine as I am, I can't blame them.
Well, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they're only human.
It's made of flesh and blood.
I could also tell that the reason this was happening was because she was intoxicated. So
That explains it.
she's got one of those red Solo cups with beer in it. They had a big keg of beer and they were dispensing into those Solo cups. So she's coming up to me, kind of doing the drunk bump into you while I'm talking, while she's talking to me, and she's spilling beer down the front of my uniform. And she's pulling me. She goes, "Hey, I want to tell you a secret."
Oh,
okay. So she pulls my head close to her and she sticks her tongue in my ear. And I'm like, well, this is strange. And there is a lot of people, girls here at this party. And she goes, "Let's go explore this building." And I'm like, being the young noble police officer, I said, okay. So I meander from my post with this girl who has me in tow. And she just opens the door and we go into the back room of this place. It was kind of a creepy place. It was like one of those horror movies. You see The Cabin in the Woods. So she takes me into this back room and we go around the corner and there's a heart-shaped bed with mirrors on the ceiling.
Oh my God.
And there's cameras. There's cameras pointed at this bed in the corner of the room. And I'm like, it looks like they're shooting pornos at this place.
Wait a minute. Describe this venue again. What the heck place was it?
The place was called, I don't think it's even operational anymore.
Don't name it, but was like a...
It was a venue out in the country.
Okay.
And it was like a big shack. I would describe it with a pavilion and several big rooms inside, but it was kind of run down and anyway. So we go back, we find this room, and I'm like, that's weird. Looks like they film pornography back here. And she says, well, I don't care about that. She pushes me up against the wall and starts making out with me. During the time that this is going on, what is that noise?
Ernie, are you outside?
Yes, I came outside for a second.
No, go back inside because the wind is really loud.
Okay, I apologize.
You're disturbing the story here.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me get back inside.
God.
I'd like to apologize to the listeners in advance for Super E's behavior.
I know. How unprofessional can you get?
So go ahead. Am I inside now?
Yes, you are.
I don't know. You tell us.
We can't see you. So anyway, she pushes me up against the wall and starts making out with me. Again, probably because she's intoxicated. But so during this altercation, while it's going on, she reaches down on my duty belt and pulls out a pair of my handcuffs. And she says, "I like handcuffs." The next thing I know, I'm wearing one of the handcuffs, and she handcuffs the other one to her. So we're handcuffed together, and she's continuing making out. All of a sudden, the owner of the facility comes around the corner in this back room and says, where nobody was supposed to be permitted, says, "Hey, what's going on here?" And I look up with my arm handcuffed to this girl as she's making out with me. Said, "Nothing, sir." And I was promptly dismissed from that off-duty detail. So
now, what did the girl say when the guy goes, "What's going on here?"
She was just laughing. She was in that phase where she didn't really care.
You know,
God.
If the owner would have been thinking, he just would have turned the cameras on.
You would think. I don't think that he wanted people to know that room was back there. That was the drift I caught. So I had to go back, me being a young police officer, thinking he's immediately going to call the chief of police.
Right.
I had to go back to the department that next day and just go ahead and fess up to the ongoings of the event from the night prior. And all he did was laugh. So they were proud of me.
Good, Chief.
Did you?
Okay.
Did you have? Was you smelling like her perfume?
Well, probably more so all the beer she spilled out. But yeah, it was an interesting getting busted by the owner of the building when I'm handcuffed. You have nothing to say, really. You
Right.
raise your arm, you're handcuffed to the girl. Like, I got nothing.
Exactly. I got nothing. So this was a part-time gig that you were just doing security for.
A one-time thing. So
A one time and apparently never again thing.
right. Well, and it was a lot better Super E than the other detail that I volunteered for at that club in that community when it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That was.
Yes.
I'm still traumatized by that one.
I mean, is that anything you can elaborate on?
It is, yeah. There was another event. It was at a different club, we could call it, facility where they have gatherings, and they were looking for an off-duty police officer for an event that they were going to have, and they were paying like $30 an hour, and I noticed nobody was volunteering for it, and all I knew was an event. That's all I knew.
Okay.
Like, I'll do it for $30 an hour.
Sure.
Well, I get there. It's a room full of women. And then all of a sudden, the male strippers came out onto the stage wearing thongs and overly large front packages inside these thongs and began to have a male strip show.
Nice.
And that's why nobody else was signing up for this detail. But they specifically asked me to walk up and down this main aisle, like towards the stage and then back towards the door. I guess they wanted the people to know that there was a police presence. Again, they requested that I was in uniform, and as I was doing this, the women were sticking dollar bills in my freaking duty belt. So apparently they thought I was part of the act.
As you were walking up and down the aisle, were you kind of grooving? Were you giving them some dance moves?
Bebop going on. Yeah, I had a little bebop.
I got a question. At what time of the night did you end up being handcuffed by one of the male strippers and making out and then get fired?
Okay, that didn't happen at this particular.
Okay. Okay.
The other off-duty incident, which didn't involve me, but it was at the VFW. It was at one of the places like that. It was a World War II commemorative. They had all these World War II vets. Do you remember me telling you this?
Yes, and they hired.
Oh yeah, A-Train. We had a Korean reserve officer that they had hired at this department. And nicest guy in the world. Until you got to know him, it was hard to understand him, and understanding him on the radio was virtually impossible. Well, I don't remember if it was a VFW or a Legion, but it was one of the places like that, and it was close to the police department. Well, it was a Korean War veteran reunion. So as you can imagine, all these Korean War veterans were extremely old now. So this establishment contacts the chief of police and says, "Hey, we would like a police officer to come down and work security for this event to protect the veterans." Well, he gets the bright idea, let's send our Korean reserve officer.
Oh my God.
So he shows up, the event starts, the chief gets a phone call, and it's from this establishment, and they said, "You need to come and get your officer and get him out of here now. They're going to kill him."
All these senile Korean veterans.
Yeah, it didn't go over so well. But
Well, speaking of when D-Mania had to go to the male strippers, one time A-Train, this is going to be very brief, they were complaining about the male strippers being fondled on stage by the female customers at these all-male reviews.
Okay.
So they asked me to go investigate it. So I took my female partner at the time, God rest her soul, she's no longer with us, bless her heart. She was a very good detective.
Mm-hmm.
She went in there, And she says, call me in about 15 minutes and I'll give you an update. So I call her in 15 minutes. I said, what's going on? She goes, these women are going wild. They're grabbing their crotches, they're grabbing their penises. It's out of control. And then as I'm talking to her, she goes, oh my God, the next answer's coming up. And she goes, he's running right at me. And then she gasped and she goes, Super, he just pulled his penis out and slapped me in the forehead with it. I was like, what? She goes, oh my God, he just pulled out his penis from his thong and slapped me upside the head with it. I said, holy shit. So she goes, get on in here. So we go in there and we go into the back room where all the guys were. And this is what I can say about the all-male review stripper guys. The ones that I've run into, they're all gay.
Okay.
And yeah, they're all gay. And they're like, Detective Super E, we're sorry if we stepped over the line. And I'm like, hey, no big deal. Just going to write you guys summonses for doing. I'll just kind of calm down, blah, blah, blah. Well, here comes the guy off the stage that slapped my female detective upside the head. He comes walking into the dressing room where we were all standing at. I thought he had an animal act going on, part of it. I thought he had a boa constrictor because he had it wrapped around his wrist. And I said, oh my God, he's got a snake involved in this show. What's he doing? And then he let go of it. It was his penis. It flopped out about 3 feet. I was like, holy shit. He could have slapped her from off the stage. And I immediately just said, hey, guys, because I wanted to crawl in the corner and hide under some coats.
Yeah.
And I said, guys, don't do it anymore. We gotta go. We are all emasculated and felt inferior. We just threw the tickets at him and ran out. So that was my experience.
Wow. Well, I'm surprised she didn't get a concussion from that.
I think she did. She was dizzy afterwards.
She was dizzy, had the vapors.
Yes, and she was clutching her pearls. Not a pearl necklace.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Wow.
Well, I think that signals the end of this debacle.
Yeah, I think it signals the end of our podcast.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, those were some really good stories. That was pretty dang good. All right. Well, anything else, D-Mania, Super E?
Negative.
I'm good.
Okay. All right, we're going to close this one out. Come back, listen some more. See ya.
Yeah, bye.